something.
It is. So it
Smells like they're frying lard. Okay, we put little floating men.
Put little floating men in there, and we have some action figures, some police in riot gear, and firemen, and some farmers, and some farm animals. But this is just a, your standard tub. This is
96 quarts.
96 quarts, and it's the. I was going to look under here and see if you could see the pipe that runs across, but you really can't as you crawl all the way under.
No.
And so there's a pipe that runs across, and it dumps in right here. And you can see where the pipe dumps in at. And then there's lava rock in there, and there's a baffle in there that makes it so the water to get from one side of the tub to the other has to make its way down through the lava rock, and then go underneath the baffle, and then come back up.
And soon there'll be a little exit here to a bucket on the outside.
And it's got we inoculated with pond scum. I did that this morning. And so it's got some pond scum in it. That just introduces different microorganisms that help break down.
What's the other bucket you're talking about? That you'll have the exit bucket?
The exit bucket,
yeah.
So that it's really easy to dump.
Oh.
So if we had the exit bucket and it was full, we could just pour it on the gardens here,
yeah.
or we can pull water out of it for that, or it's just that this is a hard thing to dump. So if we have an exit bucket,
then you can just dump the bucket, and you don't have to dump the entire.
She's okay. You're not listening.
I mean,
and so the lava rock, what it does is you can use any kind of rock that is rough. But what the lava rock does is it gives, and the little toys in there, it gives the beneficial microorganisms something to hang on to so they don't just flush out with the water. So they'll attach themselves to that lava rock and start to grow and feed and grow, and that's all good things.
At some future stage you have to probably swap them out or something like that?
Well, what we do, the lava rocks, we put new ones in this time because our other ones, it doesn't hurt to flush your gray water system once in a while. But when you do that, you're going to want to re-inoculate it with new pond
And that's
scum.
why you got some more? Because you just put some new stuff
Well,
in
we've been running with the bucket under the sink. See, our first bus, the one that was actually impounded when we were in Minneapolis, the first bus broke 3,000 miles later. The engine fried on the new bus. We were in Spiceland, Indiana. And so we bought a second bus, and so the one piece that we hadn't put together with the second bus was the gray water, and it's a matter of heat. When it got hot enough that the gray water started to smell inside, we decided to get the gray water system actually together. So we just finally went from bucket under a sink to this actually fermented gray water that's going to actually do some cleaning on it before we use it, pull out some of the food scraps, and makes a much better example of a good gray water system. And if you were doing it for your house and you wanted to set up a cleaning system, you could do 5-gallon buckets that are just staggered in height.
Right.
And as a way of doing it, there's a lot of different ways. This is the most simple way for the bus to do it. And that holds enough that water will sit in there for 3 or 4 days. Once the system is filled, water will sit in there for 3 or 4 days before it goes out, which gives those microbes time to get their work done. Takes it, so you have to kind of know how much gray water you're producing. We do low water dishes. We're about 5 gallons every other day, maybe every 3rd day, depending on how busy we are. The busier we are, the less we actually cook, and so the less water we use.
So
that's our gray water system. And in this garden, you don't have access to gray water from any of the neighbors, I would assume.
No, it'd be something to incorporate, I guess.
Yeah, the best way to improve the water system in this garden for me would be swales. Swales is just a ditch on contour.